One of the dream accessories for any four-wheel driver is an electric winch. And as you know, we've been fitting and testing a number of winches. Specifically, we've been working with the Warn 9.5 Ti Thermometric. Now that is an absolute beast of a winch. At no load, it's pulling 62 feet per minute. At 8,000 pounds, it drops back to 7.6 feet per minute, and it's pulling around 370 amps. The Super Winch EP9 is also an awesome unit. At no load, it's pulling 47 feet per minute, which is fantastic again for a low mount winch. At 8,000 pounds, it's dropped back to 7.5 feet per minute, which is very comparable with the Warn Thermometric. But at that load, it's pulling around 260 amps, which makes it an extremely economical winch. Up the front there, we've got the Tigerz11. Now that's one of the Chinese winches. The key here is to make sure you're getting it from a person who is importing them locally, but also somebody who can back it up with local warranties and local spare parts. Very, very important. That unit there is rated at 12,000 pounds. At no load, it's going to pull 33 feet per minute. So out of the three winches here, it is definitely the slowest. But when we get to the 8,000 pound mark, it's actually pulling 10 feet per minute, which makes it comparably faster than the other two winches. It's drawing about 302 amps at 8,000 pounds, so it puts it in the middle of those two. So it's quite an efficient winch as well. Now, all of those specifications that I've just given are available on the individual manufacturers' websites. Pricing wise, the Warn is at the top. The Super Winch here is in the middle, and the Tigerz11 is a very, very cheap and inexpensive winch. A couple of things I like about the Tigerz11 for a budget winch is that it first of all comes in a much smaller package, but it's also one of the few winches on the market that you can purchase from the factory with either cable or synthetic rope. And it also comes straight out of the box with a remote control. At the budget range of the winch spectrum, the Tigerz11 is an awesome buy. But for now, we need a donor vehicle to fit this Tigerz11 winch and test it out. Now our donor vehicle for this winch installation has arrived, but there's one major problem. It's running an alloy bull bar. Now an alloy bar is fantastic for mounting lights or aerials, and it's great for saving weight. But when it comes down to winching or even a front impact from an animal strike, an alloy bull bar is not going to be tough enough. So the first thing we need to do is to replace this alloy bull bar with a steel bar that is compatible for winching, and fortunately we have one of those handy. As you can see from the front section of this bar down here, it is a winch compatible bull bar. It's made of steel, so it is stronger than the alloy. The bar is fully gusseted for extra strength. It's going to give excellent approach angles with these wings. And the way that the winch area is set up, it will take a low or a high mount winch. This is what we call a deluxe bull bar. Also on the front, you will notice where the roller fair lead goes, these strengthening plates across here, which are great for lateral winching when you're running a fair lead system. We've got plenty of mounts for spotlights and for aerials, and the entire bar is sealed against the elements with a powder coating finish. Now, of course, the point of this exercise is to fit a winch to this vehicle. Now, while we've got the bull bar out, it's a great time to get the winch into the bull bar and put it all on in one unit. Whilst a winch like this will bolt into any bull bar, some bars may require some customizing. And in this case, a couple of spacers and some longer bolts are all that we require to successfully get this winch into that bar. Mounting any winch into any bull bar is critical. It is absolutely important that the winch lines up square. Any misalignment, any twisting, any stress or strain abnormally across this winch and the bull bar face can cause cracking or damage to the housing of the winch and stop it working. A little trick when putting a winch in is to get the top two bolts in first. That will secure and locate the winch and take the weight off it so you're not supporting it all of the time. Makes it a lot easier to work with. The other thing is, don't do those top two bolts up too tightly because you're going to need to move the winch around a little bit to line up the two bottom holes and to get the fair lead all sorted out. A lot of people worry when they're purchasing these cheaper style out of China winches that they're not going to bolt up to a standard bolt pattern, but the Chinese are smart enough to measure up standard bull bars and to get this right. So we can guarantee in this situation that the Tigerz11 does bolt straight into this ARB bar here. So the bolt pattern is the same. You'll also notice that we've run the earth strap for the control of the solenoid back here to the earth mount of the winch. The earth mount of any winch is probably one of the most critical parts of the wiring system. You do need to make sure that you have a solid earth back to the main chassis of the vehicle. Mounting the earth just to the winch or just to the bull bar is definitely not sufficient enough. And the main earth cable off the winch itself will run straight back to the battery.
Both ways. Johnny's world is inside out. His daddy thinks he's insane. Goes out on the town, flashes around.
Basically just line up the chassis rails and slide her on.
Couples walk by,
kit to mount the bull bar also comes with factory supplied spacers for the recovery mounts underneath the bull bar. Now in the case of using the standard points that are there from Toyota, you would definitely use these spacers. On this particular vehicle we already have Outback Ideas installed aftermarket recovery points, and these are something that we absolutely recommend. These are 10,000 pound NATO rated and tested recovery points, so a far cry from what the standard Toyota ones are. The Tigerz11 winch comes with plenty of cable to get from the solenoid box through the front of the vehicle to the battery. Be aware of any sharp edges as they pass through or near the body section, and certainly keep them clear of the drum of the winch. Once all of the cables are run and in place securely, finish the job off with some cable ties. With any new winch, the cable is not spooled on under load onto the drum, so we do have to widen the winch out, wind the cable on with a little bit of load on it first before we can use it, but apart from that, this winch is good to go. What I don't like about this winch is the lightweight controller and the lack of positive feel through the clutch mechanism. What I do like about it though, apart from the price of $600, which is absolutely awesome, is that it works. We've seen this in use on a number of vehicles and we do know that it does work. It bolts straight in. It comes supplied from the factory with one of the heavy-duty aftermarket type solenoids. Both the motor and gearbox have factory-fitted water and dust-proof seals, and the drum has a safety mechanical disengage that protects the motor from overload but doesn't inhibit the winch brake. And it also has a remote control, which can be quite handy. There we have it, the installation and testing of a couple of more fine products here at 4 Wheel Drive TV. Remember, if you need any information about these products, jump onto the website. There is plenty more information and links there, or send us an email. The team at 4 Wheel Drive TV are always willing to help out.